All right, Chairman.
Good afternoon. The Board of Adjustment is now in session. My name is Anthony Robinson, and I will be chairing today's meeting. Attending today's virtual meeting are board members Irene Saul, Mona Parsley, George Hitt, and Joe Klitzing. Also in attendance for the city is Mary Hart Burton, Zoning Administrator for the city, Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the city, who will represent the city in the cases we are hearing today, and Drea Gutierrez, lead zoning specialist. Our attorney for the board is Archer Mellon. Our court reporter is Colin Wallace. Today we will hear 5 cases. First, we will hear from the city's representative, who will explain why the permit could not be issued. Next, we will hear from the applicant and/or their representative. Then we will hear from those in favor of the appeal, and then from those opposed. Please be concise, as testimony will be limited to 3 minutes per person. When you come online via video or telephone, please wait to be sworn in by the court reporter. Then please state your name and mailing address. To ensure proper records for our court reporter, we ask those online or on the telephone to please remain on mute. Following testimony on all of today's cases, the board will go into its deliberative portion of the hearing, at which time we will vote on all the cases heard. The board will notify each applicant and/or representative of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. You're welcome to remain during our deliberations. However, we will not hear additional testimony at that time. You may also call the lead zoning specialist, Drea, tomorrow at 314-622-3666 to learn the outcome of your appeal. Again, the number is 314-622-3666. Drea, will you read appeal number 11926?
Appeal number 11929, 1001 Locust Street.
Do solemnly swear the testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So
I do. Good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to make interior alterations per plans at 1001 Locust Street. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Black Line, care of Michael Schwartz, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit, authorizing the petitioner to do interior alterations per plans at 1001 Locust Street in city block number 281.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Zone I, Central Business District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to fix reasonable standards to which buildings and structures shall conform. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.52.050 area regulations. There shall be a lot area of not less than 250 square feet for each dwelling unit up to and including 8 stories or 100 feet in height. Thereafter, there shall be provided a lot area of not less than 100 square feet for each additional dwelling unit above 8 stories or 100 feet in height. Sleeping rooms without cooking facilities shall have a lot area of not less than 100 square feet for each. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant is applying for a building permit to make interior alterations to an existing 6-story building for mixed use. It'll include retail on the ground floor as well as 60 dwelling units. In the I Central Business District, 250 square feet of land is required per dwelling unit. So for 60 units, that's 15,000 square feet. However, this parcel is only 13,077 square feet. Therefore, an area variance is required prior to approval. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that the 2005 Strategic Land Use Plan called this area a specialty mixed use area, and that the granting of a variance is in keeping with the specialty mixed use area's intent to promote development and preservation of a unique mix of uses. The 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan located this in the Central Area East. The granting of variance would be in keeping with this designation's intent of supporting a mix of uses and many types of housing, including higher density buildings. Also, this is in the downtown or design downtown STL neighborhood plan. And the granting of this variance would be in keeping with the neighborhood's plan's goal of bringing new density to the downtown neighborhood through a variety of housing types, especially those near existing assets. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11929 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions from the board?
Okay, let's hear from the appellant.
Me.
Mr. Schwartz, let's get you signed in.
Sir, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right.
Michael Schwartz, address is 2217 Locust Street, first floor, 63103. As Evan pointed out, we are proposing a renovation of the building at 1001 Locust from office to combination of ground floor retail, 8,400 square feet of ground floor retail, plus 60 apartment units, as well as amenity spaces for those apartments. And because of the existing area requirements, we need a variance to allow 60 units on this size piece of land, which I would assume is a very common issue with taller buildings downtown. These are not particularly small units. We're not shoehorning a bunch of units in there. The average unit size is 796 square feet. So they're very nice size units. And happy to answer any questions. But I think Evan explained everything pretty clearly.
Michael, is this a gut rehab?
So this building was gut rehabbed back in 2010 and 2011 into office. It was then the building went into foreclosure in 2014, 2015, and was purchased by the current owner. The current owner maintained office tenants and for many years, and then beginning with COVID, started losing the tenants. And so now there's one tenant left that is moving out at the end of May. So the exterior of the building has been done and really won't be changing. So we are gutting the offices. Yes.
Okay. I thought so because all the plumbing and everything else in the new residential you would have to.
Yes. Yeah. But the exterior though, I mean, is in beautiful condition. And so yes, it's a gut, but not the way I think of a gut or you probably think of a gut.
Correct. Okay. Thank you.
I have a question.
Do you have a mix of units? Are you doing ones, twos, and threes, or just ones, twos, or?
There's 5 studios. We do, and then ones and twos. The twos, some of the twos are 2-story units because the top floor has 18-foot ceilings. So yeah, there's studios, 1 bedrooms, 1 bedroom plus den, 2 bedrooms and 2 bedroom plus den.
Okay. Interesting.
Sorry.
Project.
No.
How's the move in and move out going to operate? Do you have alley access there?
There is building access from it's a vacated alley, but yes, there was an alley on the west side of the building, and There's an entrance on the east side, so they could come in either way, both access the elevators. So, yeah,
So it all happened in the rear?
well, it's the side.
So, I'm right, but not in the front.
No,
Okay, thank you.
and same with trash. That's access to the trash room is from that alley as well. This is the building that formerly held the downtown bike center, if you remember.
I do. Thank you.
Any other board members have any questions? Okay. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? All right. Is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Okay. Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, city journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, memo from planning and urban design, an owner's statement for building permit issued with zoning hold, a letter of support from Alderwoman Kara Spencer, a letter of support from Alderman Rasheen Aldridge, and a letter of support from Dan Pister, Chair, Downtown Board of Directors, St. Louis Downtown Neighborhood Association. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11930?
Appeal number 11930, 2756 Sheridan Street.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Do. Again, good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, a community development planner for the city of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the building commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal of the Board of Public Servants' decision to deny a consolidation application plat to consolidate two lots at 2756 Sheridan Street. I'd like to present as evidence for this case, photos and aerials of the said property, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. First, I'll be reading the BPS denial letter, and then I'll be reading the appeal form. January 7th, 2025. Dear Mr. Nguyen, and I apologize for the name pronunciation, but at its meeting on January 7th, 2025, the Board of Public Service voted to deny application number 132654 for James Surveying Company to consolidate 2756 and 2758 Sheridan Street in city block number 2674 per the rules and the regulations of the Board of Public Service governing the subdivision of land in the city of St. Louis, Missouri, Board Order number 720 amended, and per the following section of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. Section 26.08.140, dwelling, semi-detached two-family, which means a two-family dwellings separated by a division wall. Section 26.08.170, frontage. All the land abutting on one side of the street or placed between two intersecting streets or places crossing or terminating measured along the line dividing the street or placed from the individual lots, or if the street or place be a dead end, then all the property abutting on one side between an intersecting street or place and the dead end of the street or place. Or if neither of the above apply, then all the land abutting on one side of a particular block as designated by house numbers. Also, section 26.16.010, use is prohibited. No structure or land shall be used for use other than those permitted in the district in which such premises are located, unless such use is permitted by other provisions of the zoning code. And also section 26.24.020 use regulations. A building or premises shall be used only for the following purposes. C is semi-detached two-family dwellings or multiple family dwellings for not more than 4 families, which comply with the area and parking regulations of the C multiple family dwelling district, where 40% or more of the frontage of the street is occupied by semi-detached two-family or multiple family dwellings. Should you feel aggrieved by our decision or any part thereof, you may appeal within 30 calendar days of the date of this notice to the Board of Adjustment in room 400 at City Hall. For your convenience, there's an application for appeal included with this notice. If you have questions relating to procedures on the appeal, please contact the zoning office at 314-622-3666. Denied by order of the Board of Public Service, January 7, 2025. Respectfully, Michelle Knox, Secretary of the Board of Public Service. The remarks are that the applicant is applying to consolidate 2 parcels located at 2756 Sheridan Street and 2758 to 69 Sheridan Street, and it's located in the B two-family dwelling district. The existing structures are two-family dwellings that have a shared division wall. The consolidation of these parcels creates what's defined in our zoning code as a semi-detached two-family dwelling on a singular parcel. In the B district, semi-detached two-family dwellings are only permitted when they meet the area and parking requirements for the C multiple family dwelling district, and where 40% or more of the block frontage is occupied by semi-detached two-family or multifamily dwellings. In this instance, the consolidation does not make the proposed semi-detached two-family dwelling conform to the area and parking regulations of the C district, and less than 40% of the block frontage is currently occupied by semi-detached two-family or multifamily dwellings. Therefore, a use variance is required prior to approval. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency, their 2005 strategic land use plan says it's in a neighborhood preservation area, and the granting of a variance is in keeping with the intent to promote quality rehabilitation that is sensitive to the character of existing residences. The 2025 plan states that it's located in the medium intensity neighborhood, and the granting of the variance would be in keeping with this designation's intent to support a mix of uses, and many types of housing include multi-unit homes. Therefore, the planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11930 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions from the board?
How many parking spaces did they need for the change?
They would need 1 for each dwelling, so 4.
Oh, okay. And they have 2 now?
I believe it's only 2. We can ask the applicant though.
Okay, thank you.
Any other board members have any questions? Okay, let's hear from the appellant, Mr. Newland.
My name is Brian Miller. I'm actually his real estate agent, and he was wanting me to speak on his behalf if the board will allow me to.
Okay, Mr. Miller, let's get you sworn in.
Perfect.
Oh, sir, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, and then state your name and mailing address for the record.
Yeah, my name is Brian Miller. Mailing address is 538 Castle Ridge Drive in Baldwin, Missouri.
Go ahead with your testimony.
Perfect. So the building was built in, I believe, 1910 or somewhere around that time period as a 4-family. Going back to tax records, it looks like at some point in time, and just knowing a little bit about the history of the property, it looks like it may be in the 2000s. There was a fire at the property, and I'm sure that that point in time, the current or the owner at that point needed to get some plans for that property to be put back together. I believe that the statute with this being designated a 2-family residential area is probably why he had to separate it into 2 different parcels. I'm not exactly sure what the reasoning was, but that's my assumption. And the property is currently operated as a four-family with property management and tenants in place. Each unit has its own access to the exterior of the building, so it is set up as a traditional four-family with four different units. The area, I've looked at comps in the area, and so we were primarily looking at selling this to an owner occupant. Just given the condition of the property, it's in very good shape. The rents are very strong as well. And when we listed the property, we actually did get it under contract with an FHA buyer. We also had another buyer who was using a VA loan who was interested in purchasing the property. So we had two offers from two owner-occupant buyers. And while we were in the appraisal process, that's when this issue came up that there was two different parcels. And so the buyer was not able to purchase the complete building with one loan. We had to look at her purchasing the property using an FHA loan, and then with 3.5% down financing, then she was going to have to purchase the other side of the building with 25% down using an investor style loan. So it exponentially increased the purchase price because she was putting 25%, 25% plus 3.5%, so 28.5% down to purchase two properties, two sets of closing costs, two different loan origination fees, and then also two different appraisals. So that pretty much knocked the affordability of the house and of the property out for an owner occupant. I do a lot in South City. I do a lot of multifamilies in South City. I've walked probably over 1,000 of them in South City. My interactions with multifamilies is that owner occupants tend to take the best care of multifamilies when they live in the property, and they can also be vigilant of any repairs in the neighborhood and keeping a close watch on their tenants. I feel that this would be a perfect property for an owner occupant. And even just looking at some of the comps that have sold in that area, there was another multifamily at 4455 Minnesota. It was just a few blocks away, I believe, in the same area, and it sold for 415 to an owner occupant that was using a VA loan. The other good thing for the city in this regard is, again, having owner occupants versus out of state investors, to me is a plus for not only the city but specifically for this area. It would sell at a higher sales price, thus giving the city a little bit more tax revenue as well. We're not asking for there's nothing on the property that necessarily needs to be changed. I know you'd mentioned parking spots. There is a garage with two parking spaces, but I know a lot of these multifamilies don't have designated parking for all of their tenants, and a lot of them are off-street parking, or they only have two spots for 4 units. So asking for a little bit of leeway on that perspective, and just given the fact that there's 4 units in this building currently, even though it's two duplexes, there's two parking spots for all 4 units, with plenty of off-street parking in front and on the side of the building as well. I'm trying to think if I have any other notes here. I think that pretty much covers what I had, but we're not asking that no interior alterations need to be made. To my knowledge, no exterior alterations would need to be made. It was built as a four-family. I just think that it kind of fell into a interesting time period where the property was rehabilitated and probably fell into the new law that governs that area. So that way it had to be specified as two duplexes. But I think as a whole, this property would benefit from being one four-family versus two separate multifamilies that share the same wall, but then might have different owners. Having one owner, one roof, under one roof, I think is better ultimately for the building and for the city.
I'm a bit confused. We have a building here that has a wall that goes down the middle. On one side, we have 2 units. On the other side, we have 4.
No, sir. There's 2 units on either side. So it was built as a 4-family. So there's 2 units on one side, 2 units on the other side.
And we've split the building in half into a separate property from the other.
Legally, but not physically. The building is still the same to my knowledge. The layouts of the units are different, but the structure, the exterior walls, the middle dividing wall, everything else, to my knowledge, is the exact same as when it was built in 1910 as a 4-family.
Okay, so the way I understand it, what you're telling me now is there's 2 units on one side, 2 units on the other side, and both of them have 2 parking spaces, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Is there a question there? I'm
I
missing.
question why you're here.
No, Chairman, that's not right.
I'm missing
So-
the units then.
No,
Yeah,
there,
no,
so-
there's total of 4 units. There's only 2 parking spaces
There's all-
total. There's 2 parcels currently. They're trying to consolidate. It was denied because this building was built in the early 1900s. We have a code from the 1950s when they tried to suburbanize the city, and they made whole chunks of blocks, Zone A, Zone B, and so forth. So at some point in, sorry, Mr. Miller, I forget what years you said, but they subdivided this existing parcel to make 2 lots, which actually conformed to the Zone B from the 1950s code. But now they're trying to go back and consolidate. But because we have this 1950s code, Zone B, it no longer meets the code and has to adhere to the code. So they need a use variance for what now doesn't meet our zoning code.
Okay.
You very eloquently put that in terms I couldn't. So thank you. You know the legal jargon better than I do. So
Because what we were presented, I was thinking that it was just the one parcel that was circled in red. But we're talking about both parcels.
Right. Yeah. So they want it to be one parcel.
Right. So I misunderstood.
Okay.
okay.
I just
Yeah,
looking at
and
this.
again, the goal of that was to be able to sell it as a 4-family the way that it once was, in order for one owner to be able to purchase it. We did have a lot of interest. Like I said, we had 2 offers from a VA and I believe, or FHA and I believe a VA. I can't remember if they were both FHA, but that they just can't purchase both properties with that style of loan.
Well, here's a question. Now you have a double lot property once it's consolidated. It's wide enough to get 4 parking spaces. If you already have 2, you need another 20 feet to put 2 more in. Is that possible?
I would have to look at the drawings and then also look at, I guess, the space that's back there. It could work. It'd probably be tight. It would be taking pretty much all of the green space out of the backyard.
Okay. Just a thought.
Sure. I think currently the tenants, like one of the units you can enter from the front. Actually, I'm sorry. 3 of the units you can enter from the front. 1 you enter from the back of the building, where the parking spaces are. So I believe all of the, I don't even know if any of the tenants use the garage currently. I think they all park off street, which
Okay.
is a one-way street right there.
I want to point out to Chair Joe that if some of the photos show that that's where the city keeps the city trash services.
Oh, okay.
And what would be the importance of that, from my understanding?
Oh, so I was just saying there's no parking, but that's if you would put parking in, that's currently where city is keeping city services.
Oh, the dumpsters and stuff. Okay, understood.
And any board members have any questions for the applicant, the appellant? Okay, is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? All right, is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Okay, hearing none, I will enter into the record exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, based on the Board of Public Service denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, memo from Planning and Urban Design, and a copy of the BPS file. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11931?
Appeal number 11931, 3144 to 46 Potomac Street.
Do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Again, my name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to make interior and exterior alterations to convert a 4-family to a 2-family per plans at 3144 to 46 Potomac Street. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Beulah Properties LLC, care of Mayukun Yulakun, sorry Mayo, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit, authorizing the petitioner to do interior and exterior alterations to convert a 4-family to a 2-family per plans at 3144 to 46 Potomac Street in city block number 1582.00 is as follows. Present zoning for this address is Zone B, 2-family dwelling district. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to fix reasonable standards to which buildings and structures shall conform. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.16.010, discontinuing a non-conforming use. In the event a non-conforming use of any structure or premise is discontinued of its normal operation, stopped for a period of 1 year, the use of the same thereafter shall conform to the regulations of the district in which it is located. Also, section 26.16.065, changes in a non-conforming residential building. A non-conforming residential building may be repaired, renovated, rehabilitated, restored, reconstructed, or otherwise altered, except that such repair or alteration shall not create additional nonconformity or increase the degree of existing nonconformity of all or any part of such building, and further accept that no nonconforming element may be added to a building or grounds that such was an original element of the building if it was not an original element of the building at the time of the permit application. Also, section 26.24.00 or 070, which takes you to 26.20.080 rear yard. There shall be a rear yard of not less than 25 feet in depth. Also, section 26.24.080A, density of population. Single-family dwellings shall have a lot area of not less than 4,000 square feet, except that the lots of record prior to the effective date of Ordinance 45309 may be used for one single-family dwelling, provided the yard regulations in this section are complied with. Other dwellings, except as provided in section 26.24.020C, shall have a lot area of not less than 2,500 square feet for each dwelling unit. And then also section 26.24.030, which takes you to 26.20.030, the parking regulations for multiple dwellings. Dwellings shall provide space in the main building and an accessory building or on the lot occupied by the main building, sufficient to accommodate one motor car per each dwelling unit. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant is applying for a building permit to make interior and exterior alterations, converting what was a 4-family to a 2-family. According to the nonconformity of a use, this building had been discontinued for a period of a year or more, and therefore must adhere to the current zoning regulations, which are in the Zone B district. A rear yard setback area variance is required for the proposed deck that does not meet the 25-foot yards rear setback line. Also, an area variance is required for density of population. The minimum lot area is 2,500 square feet per dwelling. There's going to be 2 dwellings, but this lot is only 2,614 square feet. And then also an area variance is required for lack of parking. The project does not provide parking. There's also not an alley, but an area variance would be required for the parking. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that the 2005 Strategic Land Use Plan called this a neighborhood preservation area, and that a granting of variances in keeping with this designation's intent to promote quality rehabilitation that's sensitive to the character of the neighborhood. The 2025 plan calls this a medium intensity neighborhood, and that the granting of variance would be in keeping with the designation's intent to support a mix of uses and many types of housing, including multi-unit homes. This is also in the Gravois Jefferson Historic Neighborhood Plan, and the granting of variance is in keeping with the neighborhood's plan intent to establish and maintain more housing units, especially preserving existing housing stock near neighborhood assets like Gravois Park. Therefore, the planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11931 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions from the board?
Okay, let's hear from the appellant.
Mayo Kunailokan.
Good afternoon, Mayo. Let's get you sworn in.
Yep. Sir, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, shall be done?
Yes, I do.
Okay. State your name and mailing address for the record.
Mayo Ayolokun, 2026 South 12th Street, St. Louis, Missouri, 63104.
All right, go ahead with your testimony.
Yeah, so the building in question was the 4-family, like Evan mentioned. It's been sitting vacant, I believe, for over a decade. And I was actually approached by the neighborhood association to help rehab the property. So the neighborhood association got ownership of the property and passed it on to me. And one of the requests was actually from them if I could do 2 townhouses on that lot. So which I agreed to. So we're doing 2 townhouses on the property. With regards to parking, we don't actually have alley access, so there's actually no way to build a garage port or any kind of parking structure there because there's no alley access at all to get to the back of the property. So that's a restraint that I cannot walk around. So yeah, that's pretty much a summation of the constraint I'm working with around that.
Okay, any board members have any questions? All right, is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Okay, is there anyone here to testify in opposition of this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, memo from Planning and Urban Design, and owner statement for building permit issued with zoning hold, letter of support from Alderwoman Alicia Sanye, and a letter of support from Daniel Petty, President, Gravois Park Block Link Neighborhood Association. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11932?
Appeal number 1306 Sydney Street.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Again, my name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to convert a single family to a 3-family per plans at 1306 Sydney Street. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Beulah Properties, LLC, care of Mayokun, someday I'll get that right, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit, authorizing the petitioner to convert single family to a 3-family per plans at 1306 Sydney Street, and city block number 812.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Zone D, multiple family dwelling district. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to conserve the values of property throughout the city of St. Louis and protect the character and stability of residential, business, and industrial areas. It's also to lessen or avoid congestion in the public streets and highways in the city of St. Louis and surrounding areas. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.16.020, structures prohibited. No structures shall be erected, placed, enlarged, or structurally altered unless such action shall make the premises upon which it shall stand conform to the regulations of the district in which the premises are located, unless authorized by other provisions of the zoning code. And then also section 26.28.030, which takes you to 26.32.030 parking regulations. The parking standards in C, multiple family dwelling district, and in section 26.32.040 and or 26.32.040 shall apply. Essentially 1 unit per dwelling, and evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant is applying to convert this building to a 3-family dwelling, which will require 1 parking space per dwelling. The required parking is not provided, therefore an area variance is required prior to approval. And the City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that the 2005 Strategic Land Use Plan called this a neighborhood preservation area, and that this is in keeping with the intent to promote quality rehabilitation that's sensitive to the character of the existing residences. And then the 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this a medium intensity neighborhood, and that this would be in keeping with the designation's intent to support a mix of uses and many types of housing, include multi-unit homes. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11932 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions from the board?
Okay, let's hear from the appellant. Mayo, we need to get you sworn in again.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And then state your name and mailing address again for the record.
Maya Yolokun, 2026 South 12th Street, St. Louis, Missouri, 63104.
All right, go ahead with your testimony.
Yeah, so purchased the building last year, close to 3,800 square foot. We have 2 parking spots in the garage for the for 2 units, but we're missing that one extra parking space. There's ample off-street parking in front of the building, and the restrictions of the need for the extra parking. We just couldn't find a way to get an extra parking. We thought about just doing a 2 unit, but for what the plan and how we kind of work the numbers, 2 units would not suffice to make the project work. So coming forward to see if we can get a variance for that additional 1 unit that doesn't have the parking spot.
Is there a carriage house on this building? On this lot?
Yes, there's a carriage house. There's a right now just like a storage space currently that's there.
Is your intention to put a unit above the garage in the carriage house?
Yeah, so we thought about it, but it's just going to complicate the decision to get. So that's going to mean we have an additional 4 units there. So right now we're just thinking because it's in a thinking it's going to be like a paid storage for one of the tenants. It's a small space, so not that big.
Have you discussed this with the neighborhood or the alderman yet?
No.
Okay.
Any other board members have any questions? Okay, is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits, a certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, and a memo from Planning and Urban Design. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11885?
Appeal number 1152901 Union Boulevard.
Oh, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Good afternoon again, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal of the Board of Public Services decision to deny conditional use permit to construct a convenience store per plans at 2901 Union Boulevard, continued from December 11th, 2024. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. On July 16th, 2024, Royals Market and Spirits. Dear Mr. Ahmed, the Board of Public Service voted on July 2nd, 2024 to deny application number 132390 to occupy 2901 Union Boulevard to construct a convenience store per plans by reason of the fact that the use will be detrimental to the public health, safety, and morals and general welfare. Should you feel aggrieved by our decision, you have 30 calendar days from the date of this notice to file an appeal with the Board of Adjustment in room 400 at City Hall. For your convenience, an appeal form is included with this notice. If you have any questions relating to procedures on the appeal, please contact the zoning office at 314-622-3666. Sincerely, Michelle Knox, Secretary, Board of Public Service. Board of Adjustment of the City of St. Louis. Appeal decision made by the Board of Public Service comes now Elkin L. Kistner, and says that on the 2nd day of July, 2004, a conditional use permit was denied by the Board of Public Service that authorized the operation of a convenience store at 2901 Union Boulevard, St. Louis, Missouri, 63103. in accordance with the plans and specifications filed on the 8th day of April 2024 herewith. The Board of Public Service denied the conditional use permit for said occupancy as stated above, and the petitioner hereby appeals the denial of the permit for the following reasons. The decision is not supported by competent and substantial evidence, is unauthorized by law, was not made upon lawful procedure, is arbitrary and capricious, and constitutes an abuse of discretion. My $200 appeal fee is attached. I understand the fee is non-refundable this 9th day of August 2024. Signed by the attorney, Elkin Kistner. On December 11th, 2024, this case was originally heard, and at that time, Chairman Robinson made a motion to overturn the decision of the Board of Public Service. Chairman Robinson made a motion that 80% of the retail sales floor, whether that be shelving, coolers, freezers, etc., should contain groceries, i.e. produce, vegetables, etc., and that not more than 20% of the retail sales area be dedicated to liquor, and the standard conditions on their current conditional use permit number 131460 shall apply. Board Member Parsley seconded the motion. However, the motion failed with a 3-2 vote, with Board Member Parsley, Board Member Soul, and Chairman Robinson in favor, and Board Member DeSimone and Board Member Klitzing in opposition. After discussion, Board Member DeSimone made the motion to table appeal number 11885 for up to 90 days to allow the petitioner to meet with the alderperson and the neighborhood association to try and resolve the issue of how to best open their store. Board Member Klitzing seconded the motion. The motion passed with a 4-1 vote, with the Board Member Parsley in opposition. The hearing will be rescheduled for a later date by order of the Board of Adjustment and Andrea Gutierrez, lead zoning specialist, and it was rescheduled for today. So in summary, the appellant made a building permit application to construct a convenience store where they previously operated a convenience store located in the F neighborhood commercial district. Convenience stores in the F district require a conditional use permit. The Board of Public Service voted to deny the conditional use permit, and the appellant appealed to the Board of Adjustment to overturn the decision of the Board of Public Service. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that the 2005 Strategic Land Use Plan called this an opportunity area. Specifically, the granting of this variance is consistent with an opportunity area's intent to encourage flexible and specific development proposals, which could be advantageous to a range of development activities in areas with particular challenges and opportunities. The 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this a lower intensity corridor, and the granting of variance would be in keeping with this designation's intent to support a mix of commercial uses that serve the surrounding community. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11885 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions about that from the board?
Okay, let's hear from the appellant.
So this is Elkin Kistner, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. So we obviously had a previous day of this hearing.
Should I swear him in?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so Mr. Elkin, we will need you if you're going to continue to be sworn in.
Thank you.
Sir, can you raise your hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, and then state your name and mailing address for the record.
First name is Elkin, E-L-K-I-N. Last name is Kistner, K-I-S-T-N-E-R. The mailing address is 1406 North Broadway, St. Louis, Missouri, 63102.
All right.
So I'm not going to repeat what we did at the last day of this hearing. Wanted to make sure that The board is aware that the appellant has attempted to reach the alder for the ward. We did have a communication with her, very direct. Ms. Tyus indicated that she was irrevocably opposed to the application. We think that her opposition is not well-founded. I suspect we're going to hear from her today. We did get a statement from the president of the neighborhood association, and that is Exhibit 16. I believe, let me make sure I've gotten that correct. It is Exhibit 16. We asked that to be submitted. I also prepared an affidavit, which is Exhibit 17. We have a number of exhibits from the previous hearing. I don't know whether they've already been admitted. It may be either Mr. Winkler or Ms. Gutierrez can interrupt me, but we had exhibits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and that's it. So we'd like to make sure, and then exhibit 15, we've also submitted in advance of today's hearing. That's simply a copy of the decision that was coming out, kind of a preliminary decision of this board following the first day of the hearing. So again, exhibits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. I'd like the record to reflect that they've been submitted. Mr. Chairman, is that okay?
And I just want to reiterate, they have been submitted, but we use a lettering system, so our board will see them as letters as opposed to the numbers, but they are submitted as exhibits.
Okay, we sorry that we made that mistake. We submitted them and nobody told us we were doing it wrong. So I probably am missing some rules or regulations somewhere, and I apologize. Okay. So in any event, we think that the planning staff has it right. Obviously, they've given a critical eye to this situation, and I'm not going to repeat or even try to summarize the, I think, cogent and persuasive evidence that was submitted at the first day of the hearing. The fact that the neighborhood association supports the planning staff's position on this and supports the efforts of the appellant, the owner, to open this store, which is not just a liquor store, convenience store, as the previous testimony indicated. And Mr. Chairman, I do remember your motion in terms of the requirement of having a certain percentage of the floor space devoted to actual groceries, and that's fully acceptable. This is not just going to be a liquor store. It's not just going to be your typical convenience store. This is going to be a more broad kind of marketplace for the community that this particular neighborhood richly deserves. And we would ask that this court give favorable consideration to the application based on those factors. If you have any questions, I'd be really happy to answer them.
Board members, any questions?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Ms. Hartburden.
Thank you. I just have a comment, and it's more for Mr. Kistner. I just wanted to make sure or to clarify that you were not incorrect in labeling your exhibits. You may label your exhibits however you want. We just want to point out to the board that our labeling system is different. So if they want to refer to that in their packet, it'll make it quicker for them to get to that page.
Okay. Well, thank you for your kind words, because as you know, I'm fully capable of ignoring almost every regulation. So it's gratifying to hear that I got it right once.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board? Okay, let's hear from anyone who is in favor of this appeal.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not aware of anyone else. We did have a witness at the first day of the hearing. And obviously I've spoken today.
Okay.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, Derek.
Yes. How you doing?
Okay. Are you looking to testify in favor of this appeal?
Yes, and I'm trying to get back to which field this is actually on because I got knocked out of the Zoom some kind of way.
Okay, so
I just chimed back in.
this is appeal number 11885, 2901 Union Boulevard.
Yes, that's the one I would like to talk about. So my name is Derek Carter.
Okay, so
yes.
Mr. Carter, let's get you sworn in then.
Yes. All right.
So can you raise your right hand?
Yes, my name is Derek Carter.
No,
Yes.
Mr. Carter, can you raise your right hand and be sworn in?
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, now give us your name and mailing address.
Yes, my name is Derek Carter. My mailing address is 4740 Labadie. It's 63115, apartment A. And so my testimony is that I believe it's a really, really great idea for us to have this store in the community. I am a person who lives in that community. I also drive for a company that goes around and pick up people and move them around to different places like kidney dialysis, to store, grocery for the company I drive for. And I pick up people in that area around Abner Place, St. Louis Avenue. And a lot of times trying to get to the store is a long ways off for the places they need to go. And I think that would be more convenient for them. So, that's my testimony, is that I truly believe that this is the best outcome for the community.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Carter. Any board members have any questions? All right, is there anyone else here to testify in favor of this appeal?
Yes, my name is Donnell Malik Sims.
Okay, Mr. Sims, let's get you sworn in.
So can you raise your right hand?
Yes, I can.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, Mr. Sims, can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
Yes, my name is Donnell Malik Sims. My mailing address is 2161 Thurman Avenue, apartment G, St. Louis, Missouri, 63110.
All right, go ahead with your testimony.
So I want to echo the attorneys and Mr. Derek Carter's sentiment that I feel that it would be an addition to the neighborhood in regards it'd be an economic uplift. A and B, prior to the owner, from my understanding, demolishing the store, it was already open for business. He had already had all of his license and all of that. And his desire was to just make the store more appealing and more better for the community. So he's expressed that he's going to hire individuals from the community. And so it's an economic uplift for the community, and I support it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sims. Any board members have any questions? All right, is there anyone else here to testify in favor of this appeal? Okay, is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal?
Yeah, yes.
Alderwoman Tyus.
Mr. Miller is also here to testify, so I will yield to him if you don't mind first. Do you mind? Put your hand up, Sterling.
Yep, Sterling Miller. I'm sorry, my Zoom doesn't identify my name.
Sure. Let's get you sworn in, Mr. Miller.
Oh, sir, do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right. And state your name and mailing address for the record.
My mailing address is 4968 Maffett Place, St. Louis, Missouri.
Go ahead.
All right. I'm a 60-year resident of the Kingsway East neighborhood. I'm also the Democratic committeeman, and I am a member of the St. Louis Planning Commission. We just approved the 2025 plan that was just mentioned by Evan. The one thing that strikes out at me is that plan allows flexibility of uses, lower intensity uses, but it is not necessarily overrule the positions and the discretion, I was going to say, of this body. What is being proposed is a convenience store, and our one of our objectives is to preserve residential uses. We are losing so many residents every year, and the residents are mainly driven away by nuisances, and the convenience stores is a nuisance. We have multiple convenience stores on Union. I mean, and we're trying to preserve and keep our Schnucks. I mean, everyone is aware of our food deserts. This store specifically, as the attorney mentioned, he's going to try to dedicate 80% of the floor space. That's not the sales to groceries and liquor. That's just the floor space. That doesn't mean that that's what people are going to buy. Even so, if there were, we're trying to keep our grocery store. We have a convenience store at Union and Natural Bridge. We have a convenience store at Palm and Natural Bridge. We also have a convenience store at Arlington and St. Louis Avenue. We have one at Kings Highway and St. Louis Avenue. This is not something that we need. If you go to St. Louis Avenue and Kings Highway right now, there are 10 guys loitering outside that convenience store. The police are not available to move them. The zoning commissioner cannot move them. They're hanging at the convention store. They're off the property of the owner, but they're on private property, and nobody wants to live next to that. That is the issue. To me, our focus ought to be on preserving our residents, our residential users that pay the freight. There's housing on Abner and west of St. Louis Avenue. I heard the gentleman that lived in South St. Louis endorsing this in our neighborhood. He lives on Thurman. I mean, he's well-intentioned. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to, but the people we represent as an elected official, and I've been elected for over 30 years, constantly going to the voters and hearing from them specifically. This is not something we need. Nobody moves to St. Louis or stays in St. Louis because they can get Cheetos. We really need our homeowners to be a priority, and I'm asking that this board use its discretion to reinforce that. It's not, we need a coffee shop, a cleaners, a bookstore. This is not convenience stores. We have them all up and down Union. If you drive up and down Union, you'll find them. And this and keeping Schnucks is a priority. I'm sorry. I mean, that's what we have discretion for. That's what we need to do. We lost our Walgreens less than a month ago, and primarily Walgreens is losing because they are losing out on the stuff that the convenience stores sell. Everybody sells what they were selling. You know, the pharmacy, but we lost the pharmacy. Schnucks has a pharmacy, but we need the rest of the store. And the discretion to exercise it by this board will be of extreme benefit to deny this appeal. There's no harm done to the neighborhood that this parcel is vacant. It's been vacant for the last year, and the owners, they made it vacant. That's a self-induced harm. So I really urge you to use your discretion to deny this permit. We need a higher use. I mean, the city, it's an emergency right now for residents. We need to act like it. Nobody wants to live next. There's a housing right up abuts this property. You're making it harder for the homeowner, for members of this board. Would you want to live next to that? And once you okay it, your ability to enforce and monitor any kind of conditional uses is very limited. So I'm just asking that there be a higher standard. And the standard is that we're going to act on behalf of the residents, the taxpayers who pay their property tax, who want peace of mind, who don't want people loitering in front of their house, who can feel safe going in and out. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any board members have any questions?
And Mr. Robinson, can I say one more thing? I saw my note.
Go ahead, Mr. Miller.
So one of the new technologies that we have, and I'm asking that the board start thinking about it, is doing a 360 camera view around these properties. Because once these properties are in, if you go around and take a 360 photograph of the convenience stores, nobody wants to live around that. The houses are not sold and not resold because nobody wants to live around that. And so slowly we lose the house next to it, we lose the house next to that, and it's just incremental destruction. So I'm just urging that we really exercise your discretion on this and reject this application. Thank you.
Okay, so I guess since no other board members have questions, I would ask, because this is on Union, and really that's a commercial corridor. My question, and again, not saying that, you know, this particular structure is good or bad, but it's in a commercial corridor versus residential. So
yes.
Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I have thoughts on that. It's true, it's in a F local district, but the compatible uses of the property, the residential uses abut the property. So that's why we have discretion in making sure that, you know, in the old days, we had these uses, we'd close at 5 p.m., at 6 p.m., so that we protected the residential nature of the abutting property. Those kind of restrictions, closing at a reasonable hour, the activity at a reasonable hour, not having lighting that's shining on the neighbor's house, those are the things. And we're not going to keep having convenience stores. We wouldn't. Okay, so if they build a convenience store, are we going to approve a convenience store right next door? Or are we just going to keep doing it? At what point does the city say, wait a minute, we got enough? And that's when the planning and zoning discretion of boards like this come into play. So there's no shortage of convenience stores in that area. But we do only have one grocery store in the area. So that's also a strategic goal that we need to protect. And I think that's a legitimate planning function.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Any other board members have any questions? Okay, Mr. Kistner, I may give you an opportunity at the end to rebut. Let's see, Ms. Coleman, you've got your hand raised.
Yes, I am the NIS in that area, and I can't agree with Sterling more.
Okay,
Um,
Ms. Coleman, we will need to get you
okay.
sworn in if you are looking to testify.
Ma'am, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, stuff you got?
Yes.
Okay, now, Ms. Coleman, state your name and mailing address for the record.
NIS Marnay Coleman, 1520 Market, St. Louis, Missouri. So as far as the area goes, we just got them off the nuisance list, which they haven't gotten back on the nuisance list since the property has been vacant. And so there's still people around the area. When I drive the area and I survey the area, there's a lot of people on drugs that are right over there across the street at the bus stop. Some of them are, urinating and defecating on the property, things like that. We have to call the police to have them picked up. And so I believe that opening up a convenience store there again, which kind of allows them to buy alcohol and things like that to, feed their habit, is going to make it worse again. The whole time that the convenience store that was there at first, that was open, because of the riffraff that comes in and out and the things that they do, is what puts this property on the nuisance. And so I'm afraid that when the property is opened again for a convenience store, we're going to be dealing with a lot of nuisances again, which is how we got them removed last time. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Coleman. Any board members have any questions? Okay, Mary.
Muted, Mary.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This question is for Mr. Kistner. Mr. Kistner, would your client be amenable to opening the business without liquor and perhaps, creating some trust with the community that, he could operate the business well, and then maybe come back at a later time once he has operated that business well? I don't know if that's a decision the board will make. I'm just trying to broker some sort of compromise that might work for everybody.
Mr. Kistner, you're muted.
So thank you, Ms. Burton, for the effort to broker a compromise, but that's going to be extremely difficult for my client. If the board is, of course, free to attach whatever conditions it wants to within reason. It's not something that my client is interested in agreeing to up front. I'll refer the board back to Exhibit 1, which are conditions applicable to the prior owner, which is agreed to. We had fulsome discussion also at the first day of this hearing in terms of other further restrictions that might give assurance to the community and to this board that this property would operate as it said it was going to operate, not as a mere convenience store, but actually as somewhat of a hybrid that includes features of a grocery store. And one of the points to be made is that my client already has received a liquor license, at a cost of $5,000. That's in hand already. And again, I mean, obviously my client's party, the liquor license is Exhibit 3, by the way. Go ahead. City is Exhibit 4. The state liquor license is Exhibit 3. The city liquor license is Exhibit 4. And I just want to emphasize that labeling this entity as a convenience store, I think, slights what it is promising to do. And Mr. Chairman, do you want me to go on now further, or should I just stop and be given?
No, I would stop with the question that was answered.
Okay.
Let's continue with those in opposition, and then I will give you an opportunity to respond. Alderwoman Tyus, let's get you sworn in.
Ma'am, do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Help you God?
I do affirm.
Okay. Name and mailing address for the record.
Sharon Tyus, Alderwoman, 12th Ward, 1200 Market, room 230, Board of Aldermen, 63103.
Okay, go ahead.
First of all, I have a couple of questions. The last time I saw Elkin Kistner, he was telling this Board of Adjustment how great Salamas would be at the corner of St. Louis Avenue and Kings Highway. And in fact, everything that we tested, the board gave him his request, and that what Mr. Miller just testified against about the people hanging out, that's at Salamas. It's also Gunfire Alley. You cannot drive through there without gunfire. Every day I have to put up with a decision that my community told this Board of Adjustment was not a good idea. Mr. Elkin Kistner said it was great, but he never has to drive through that gunfire. I cannot drive from St. Louis Avenue and Kings Highway to Martin Luther King and Kings Highway without there being gunfire about once every couple of weeks, mostly at Salamas. And all that hanging out and urinating and stuff, that is at Salamas. And that was the way it was at Salamas at St. Louis Avenue and Euclid until this Board of Adjustment gave them the ability to move to Kings Highway. And I say that to say that's the same thing that has been happening at St. Louis Avenue and Union. And the reason that people who do not live in the neighborhood think it's all right, because they don't live in the neighborhood. Mr. Derek Carter says he lives at 4747 Labadie. That is at almost the corner of Labadie and Marcus. It is no place near the neighborhood. You would have to walk up 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 5 blocks up and several blocks over to use this convenience store. More than likely, if he was going to use a store, it would be the Snooks that is a few blocks away. I want to know who is the neighborhood association that wrote the letter, because Mr. Kirchner talked about that was into evidence, but I don't have a copy of it. Who wrote that letter? What neighborhood association? Because I have suspect that it's not the one that represents the Wales Fellow. And I'd like to know who is that and what is that?
Chairman, would you like me to answer that, or?
Yes, thank you.
It was signed by Hassan Sharif, Associate President of Wells Goodfellow Neighborhood Association.
And have you verified that that's who did that at all?
We did verify that this entity exists and that, they have an LLC for that.
But that's not the name of who I have that is the chair. So that's why I want to know who did you verify this?
That's the name that is on the LLC that's been verified.
Okay, I wanted, because that's not who I noticed. I'm sorry.
I was just saying that sometimes there are neighborhoods that have other groups operating in a similar capacity, and like we don't have necessarily city designated.
He is the he's the
current
president of the NAMS. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, so I'm glad to know that he wrote that letter. But I would also question, did he talk to the people who live around there? That's what I did. I've represented the Wells Goodfellow area between the Union and to Arlington near on since 1991. I don't represent all of Wells Goodfellow because most of it has been in the 22nd Ward. The only part that had any real development has been the part that I have put in to the Wells Goodfellow neighborhood, which is to have the grocery store. We are working so hard right now on a hardware store next to it. Across the street from where this particular property is, we've been working on putting a medical center. I'm so glad. I didn't know that the neighborhood improvement specialist was going to be here, but I'm glad she came here to testify to all of this stuff because we have had this problem ongoing. Mr. Kirshner talks about what a great thing it would be. I would invite Mr. Kirshner and everybody else who thinks it's a great thing to put their houses right next to it. Because Mr. Miller is correct when saying that we cannot then address it and you don't do anything and you don't have to put up with it and you don't have to listen to the telephone calls. I submitted to you my election that I had in 2023. I got elected I've now been on the Board of Aldermen since 1991. I got elected over the former mayor running somebody against me, the current president of the Board of Aldermen, and the current treasurer. I won overwhelmingly. The people know who I am and they know the positions that I take and they look forward to me taking the positions to represent them. I don't just take this lightly. I actually go out and talk to the people. You got all these people who don't live right around testifying because they don't have to put up with it. If you live 8 blocks away or 7 blocks or 10 blocks away, that's a great idea. You asked Mr. Miller about this being on a commercial corridor, but unfortunately, it also intersects a residential. It is that corner. So whatever happens there, it affects the people whose residence is right next to it. I testified before about us having to remove the bus stops, the urination. She's saying the same thing I said. It's in my letter, so I won't go through that again, except to say this is not a good spot for that. Also, Mr. Miller is correct in saying, how many of these things do we want? If we put Snooks out of business, and I'm very nervous now because we just lost Walgreens. I worked 12 years to get that Walgreens, and we lost it now. And we lost it because we put a Family Dollar next to it, and we undermined it. And everybody, when I said that was going to happen, oh, no, that wouldn't. When something happens after you're right, then nobody comes back and puts the stuff back. We only have one grocery store, major grocery store in all of North St. Louis. Not any amount of liquor stores, convenience stores, and now they're rebranding these things now and saying they're grocery stores. It's going to make it worth us losing our one grocery store. No place else in the city has that one grocery store. And in fact, places in South St. Louis are starting to lose their grocery store. And they're trying to ask me, how did you get that grocery store? I worked very hard to get it. I want to say one other thing. You talked about Malik Sims. Malik Sims gets paid to testify at these situations. So he comes from wherever because he is a paid advocate. And nothing wrong with being a paid advocate, but he doesn't live in the neighborhood and he doesn't look out for what's best for the community. Whatever they submitted, if they got more signatures on a petition than I do of being elected. This is my 7th mayor right here. The last one is gone because she came up against me and she's gone. This is my 7th mayor. That means the people believe in what I do, and I put my name on the ballot to get elected, not just come and show up at these things. And this is not in the best interest of our community. They already showed that when they were open, and now to try to give them a variance to do that again is a mistake. And I'm also going to check into their liquor license because there was a moratorium, and I don't know how they got a liquor license when there was a moratorium in place. So we will be looking into that. Now, thank you very much.
Can I interject, please?
Derek, you cannot. No. Are there any other board members? I'm sorry. Anyone else here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Okay, Mr. Kishner, I'll give you 2 minutes to rebut, after which I will give the Alderwoman an additional 2 minutes should she need it and not more. Mr. Kishner, go ahead.
So the idea that the property in question is better off as a vacant parcel is just not a well-grounded argument. With the restrictions that this board can place on the conditional use permit, which we've already gone over, it's clear that the community would be better off with the operation of this hybrid grocery store, convenience store with the indoor-outdoor video surveillance, the limitations on hours, the floor space allocation to foodstuffs that has previously been discussed, the jobs for the neighborhood, the support of the neighborhood association, the thoughtful analysis and favorable analysis that the planning people in the city have given this. And listening to a lot of the testimony against this operation is based on speculation and hearsay. The idea that Salamas Market, which I did help get a conditional use permit from this body, I am 100% confident that there have not been major problems with that operation. You would have heard about violations of the restrictions on that conditional use permit, and there have been no complaints to you about the violations of the conditions on that conditional use permit. There's no suggestion that Walgreens, that's a half a mile away, has been affected by anything other than the placement of a Dollar General next to it. There's no indication that Schnucks is about to leave. This is all about the alderperson being opposed to any liquor license in her ward in memory. She admitted to having a moratorium in place. I will tell this board that that is a road to ruin legally, to have some sort of moratorium. It's unlawful. You have to take each application as it comes. But apparently the alder has only one mindset, and that is oppose every operation that would include a liquor license. And I just submit that that is not a favorable analysis for an alder to have for her community. And I respectfully disagree with her. And I think the evidence overwhelmingly supports granting the application that is before you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kistner. Alderwoman.
Mr. Kistner has never been elected, does not live in my neighborhood, has never put his name on a ballot, and doesn't know what he's talking about. First of all, I have not always opposed liquor. So that's a bold-faced lie, and you ought to be careful about what you say because it can be easily approved. I do not drink. However, Mr. Miller, on the other hand, who is my husband, does drink. I don't drink, and that's not how I make my decisions, okay? And in fact, I will bring forth several of them that I have supported. So that's untrue. As far as you getting complaints about what happens on the corners, you don't get the complaints. I do. Now, you just heard the neighborhood improvement specialist tell you that those things happen. I didn't know she was coming. I did not ask her. You can ask her if I asked her to come, but she says the same thing. We have nuisance records. People, I will send you the complaints I've gotten from people saying these people are hanging on these corners. Ms. Titus, what are you going to do? They don't come to you. They come to me, not Mr. Kistner, because he doesn't live in the neighborhood. I live here. So when then he says this thing about vacant parcels, that's not well grounded. That is one of the things that I use when I talk to people about what do you want next to your house, because oftentimes a vacant parcel beats a drug house. And so we talk about that often. So having a vacant parcel is not a problem. That's a promise for something better. Anything does not make it okay. When I came into office and started to build grocery stores and schools and not a hardware store, banks and credit unions, the people in my community didn't think they could have that. And they would say, Alderwoman, you can't get that. And then I would fight so hard and get it. And they would say, whoa. So you have to believe. I'm that person that believes, and I'm that person that lives in the community. Miss Coleman here, again, ask her. I didn't ask her to come, didn't know, but she testified to just what I was talking about, the nuisances at these corners. Mr. Kirshner will make light of that I don't want liquor because the community asked me to do a moratorium. And by the way, most of the North Side wards have moratoriums because we had way too much liquor. And it's been a way to slowly filter out the bad actors that want liquor in our community. It is not an end to all end. It is not in the best interests of our community. It is often a debilitating disease. And so if Mr. Kirshner thinks it's so great, I again I implore him to move right over to the 12th Ward. And one other thing, I want you to run against me and see if you will get elected on what you just said. There's nobody here who has showed up that lives right around there that said, I want that next to my house. Nobody. All of these people who are testifying live someplace else. And that is ridiculous for the lawyer to come in here and be so disrespectful to the elected person when I've been elected for 8
Alderwoman, that's
times.
3 minutes.
Thank you.
Any board members have any questions? All right. Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial based on the Board of Public Service denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, memo from Planning and Urban Design, copy of the BPS file, copy of conditional use permit submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 1, copy of certificate of occupancy and zoning submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 2, copy of state liquor license submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 3, copy of city liquor permit submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 4, copy of city liquor license submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 5, copy of city business license submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 6, copy of building application submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 7, copy of site plan submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 8, copy of plan submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 9, copy of notice regarding building permit application AB-50070-24 and CUP application submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 10, copy of BPS denial and appeal submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 11, 16 photos of 1403 Union Boulevard submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 12, copy of liquor license approval petition submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 13, 2901 Union Boulevard site photos submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 14, a copy of proceedings from December 11th, 2024, meeting notice letter from April 30th, 2025, City Journal public notices for April 30th, 2025, photographs for April 30th, 2025, Sanborn maps for April 30th, 2025, memo from Planning and Urban Design for April 30th, 2025, affidavit from Elkin Kistner with a copy of an email sent to Alderwoman Tyus submitted by petitioner's attorney, letter of support from Hassan Sharif, Association President, Wells Goodfellow Neighborhood Association, submitted by petitioner's attorney, copy of proceedings from December 11th, 2024, submitted by petitioner's attorney, copy of conditional use permit resubmitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit, copy of certificate of occupancy and zoning resubmitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 2, copy of state liquor license submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 3, copy of city liquor permit submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 4, Copy of city liquor license resubmitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 5. Copy of city business license resubmitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 6. Copy of building application resubmitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 7. Copy of site plan resubmitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 8. Copy of plans resubmitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 9. Copy of notice regarding building permit application AB-580070-24 and CUP application resubmitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 10. Copy of BPS denial and appeal resubmitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 11. 16 photos of 4301 Union Boulevard submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 12. Copy of liquor license approval petition submitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 13. 22901 Union Boulevard site photos resubmitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 14. Copy of the proceedings from December 11th, 2024, resubmitted by the petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 15. Letter of support from Hassan Sharif, Association President, Wells Goodfellow Neighborhood Association, resubmitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 16. Affidavit from Elkin Kistner with a copy of an email sent to Alderwoman Tyus, resubmitted by petitioner's attorney as Exhibit 17, and a full page photo submitted by petitioner's attorney. And with that, I will consider this appeal.
Excuse me, point of order. I also submitted my response to Mr. Kistner, and I submitted some stuff to this board.
Evan?
You know what time?
Because I knew he was playing a trick. He's playing a game.
I'm not playing games.
Oh, I'm not talking to you. Don't talk to me, Mr. Kistner. If you want to talk to me, move to my
Alderwoman,
community.
you are out of order. Mr.
I'm not
Kistner,
talking to
you are out of order.
We're checking the email now. Do you know when you sent it, Ms. Alderwoman?
Yeah, I sent it today. And maybe I sent it to Miss Mary Hart Burton and Miss what's her name? Gutierrez? Some with a G.
Gutierrez. Yeah, Gutierrez.
Right. It's my reply to him.
Alderwoman Tyus, did you send that after the meeting started?
I did, before we had the hearing.
I sent it at 2:14 and 2:21. I did not check my email during the meeting. I'm busy taking notes.
Okay, I understand. That's why I also send it to Miss G, because she does usually get them. Because after I talked to Mr. Elkin Kistner, he tried to act like that he couldn't reach me, and that's a false premise. And I addressed it in my email, and you should see the reply, because it's ridiculous what he put in his email about calling the board of President's board, and then I showed him how he could Google and get my telephone number.
Alderwoman?
Yes, sir.
We are attempting to locate that. We are past.
And I will send you those letters that I've gotten about, since he made a statement about not having trouble. I got queued up right now. I can send you the people hanging on the corner. I can send you the shootings. This is all queued up in a file.
We are past testimony.
Yes, sir. I hear you.
Alderwoman Tyus, in the future, it might benefit to send your communication, we typically tell everyone that we need it by noon on Tuesday, the day before the meeting.
So I didn't see his communication. When I saw it, I immediately replied, because I know it's one of his little tricks that he does, because he doesn't have his friend hanging around from the city councilor's office. It's one of his little tricks to act like he couldn't reach me, when it's ridiculous. He was the city councilor. He knows exactly how to call me, and to put in that letter, I couldn't find your number. Google it. And I Googled it for him. So that's a ridiculous letter he sent. It's legal trick, and I wanted to address it. So as soon as I saw it, I addressed it. And then he called me and we talked. And I offered him to go and look at another place that we could look to put this that would be in the best interest of the community.
Mr. Chairman, I'm biting my tongue.
Good. First time ever.
All right, so in just Chairman, so you know, the letters were sent after exhibits were sent to you all. So if you would like them to be entered as exhibits, I will have to read them in. Otherwise, if you feel like you've heard the testimony, you should proceed with concluding the hearing.
When are exhibits due, Evan?
By noon on Tuesday is what we put on our documentation.
Okay, we will not consider that.
I have a question. So this is an exhibit, and he got all his exhibits in on time. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So, but I'm testifying that I did not see his letter, and so you're going to take something that, and so just for your own information, Google the Board of Aldermen yourself and see if you can find the number, because his letter is ridiculous.
We will take that under consideration, Alderwoman.
And even if you read it afterwards, just read it and see if what he said made any sense. This is a setup, and I cannot keep putting up with the things you put up in my community. And then I have to put up with the gunfire. The reason you guys are being overturned is because you are not looking out for the best interests of the community. You are looking out for what a business person wants. And so Friday on the Board of Aldermen, I'm going to call a meeting for all the people in my community to talk about how that people have more rights that live outside our community than live inside our community. And we're going to bring people. You can make me be quiet. I'm not going to. We're going to make a whole bunch of people come.
Alderwoman, we are done. This concludes the testimonial portion of our hearing. We will now go into the deliberative portion of the hearing. Thank you, Colin. We appreciate your service. Board members, do you need a 5-minute recess or shall we continue?
I'm going to log off. You guys have a good one.
Thanks, Colin.
Continue as far as I'm concerned.
We shall continue then.
March forward.
Okay. Appeal number 11929, 1001 Locust Street.
Well, I like this project myself personally. iDistrict doesn't require parking, so I've learned that over the years. I don't know how many times Mary's told me that. No.
I make a motion to approve. Nobody's going to even know that it's there. I mean, the exterior is done. They're just going to do the interior. And more power to them. We've got, I don't know how much vacant office space, and convert it into residential makes sense to me. So I agree. Yes.
Okay. Moved by Joe, seconded by Mona. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries. Findings, Joe?
Will not be a detriment. Probably an asset.
That's not a choice.
Thanks, Joe. All right. Appeal number 11930, 2756 Sheraton Street.
Used to be a 4-family. I don't have a problem with this. Can't give parking. There's no way to give it to him to make it.
It's functioning now. There's been no complaints about the parking, I guess. It's not going to change a damn thing. I say nope. Approve.
Second.
Okay. Again, motion moved by Joe, seconded by Mona. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Findings, Joe?
Will not be a detriment.
Okay. Appeal number 11931, 3144 through 46 Potomac.
The neighborhood came to him.
Yeah.
That's true.
And how can we complain? It's going from a 4-family to a 2-family. It reduces the parking, takes a building that's been vacant for a while, turns it into something beneficial.
Yeah.
I'll let you make the motion, Mona, because
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All right, reversed. Moved by Mona, seconded by Joe. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All of those opposed? Motion carries. Findings?
I'm going to call it an asset.
Yay!
Okay. Appeal number 11932, 1306 Sydney.
Was this one when they had no discussion with the older person?
Yeah. Or the
Well,
neighborhood.
the older person was Kara. So
that would have been difficult.
I don't know that they could have got a hold of her.
The neighborhood is very active, and I'm concerned that they didn't talk to him.
I know this property quite well. They never, ever used that garage in the back. The guy was a antique dealer / estate seller. So he just had all kinds of stuff in that garage. He never once parked in the garage. He always parked on the street, and so did all of his tenants, the people that lived in that house. So I guess I'm a little jaded because no one ever used the garage. And everybody parked on the street.
My concern, he didn't even mention that he'd talking to the neighbors on each side of the property. And I don't know if that's a big deal or
The
not.
previous owner, I was just going to say that it's assessed as a single family home. So the previous owner may have been having tenants without appropriate unit counts.
Kind of a boarding house.
I think you should talk to the neighborhood.
Mona,
Go ahead, Mary.
Mona, is this in close proximity to the project that was so controversial?
Across the street.
13. No, it's not. Okay.
No, this is right at the bridge. This is the second house from the bridge.
Where the big dumpster is.
Right. Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Right. It's gone now. It's been gone for a while. I think he just went in and, well, he allowed Rich to leave all the crap. And so he cleaned it out. And then he allowed Earl to stay until Earl was accepted into the hat factory. Because Earl lived there too. So anyway, they did a fundraiser for Earl. So Earl could get in. He didn't have enough money.
Thank you.
Yes. I don't know. It might have been more than you wanted, but
this is your neighborhood. So
yeah, I know this. I know this area. So
Well, Mona, do you think the neighborhood association?
When it was posted, so I don't know. It's right at the bridge. There's parking right there.
But do you think the neighborhood association would be interested to know what's going on?
I don't know. They're all about density right now, this young crew that's in charge. So I don't think they'd have an issue with it. Otherwise, I think they would have had a fit.
Well, it has been posted, so everybody should have known, right?
That's kind of how I feel about it. And I think they're pretty involved over there.
Yeah.
You gonna make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second
Don't worry about Airbnbs because you can't have but one in a 4-family.
Well,
If they call it a single family, then they got to get I don't know, got to get a special use.
Actually, the regulations for short-term rentals have been suspended by a lawsuit. So currently, as we speak, they may operate just as they have always operated without any approval from zoning. So, but stay tuned, that landscape is changing hourly.
Okay. Well, I'm still making a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second you.
Motion made by Mona, seconded by George. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. All of those opposed? Motion carries. Findings, Mona?
Won't be a detriment.
Okay, finally, appeal number 11885, 2901 Union Boulevard. So I'll start out by saying that additional testimony has helped me. I think it's important that the Schnooks there be supported. It is the only, it's not the only grocery store in North St. Louis, and not even the only one on Union, but it definitely is a huge contributor to the neighborhood, and I agree that there are also a ton of convenience stores, and I understand now we're trying to go into a hybrid. I don't know what that looks like yet. Perhaps we might see what a hybrid looks like somewhere else and how successful it may be. But for me, I don't personally think that this will be an asset to the community. Other board members.
I tend to agree with you on this, Anthony. I sure the heck wouldn't want to live right next door or the second door or the third door down from this. Maybe not even a block from this thing. I think we've seen how these people operate this convenience store. And I wouldn't want to be a part of it, and I certainly wouldn't want to live close to it. And maybe it's not their fault, and maybe there's no way to control it. And I don't want to take a chance on it. And I do agree with Mr. Sterling about protecting the Schnooks and the integrity of that.
Yeah, I'm in agreement as well. I mean, you know, I live, as I sit in my office, I can actually look at a lounge that is right behind my house. I can tell you that we don't have loitering and shooting over here, but there is a lounge that serves liquor. In fact, I can look at two, both a lounge and a restaurant that serves liquor here. That isn't occurring here in my neighborhood, but I understand that it does occur in other neighborhoods. It's unfortunate for businesses because it does, and I truly hate penalizing businesses because they to a great degree they cannot control that. But I think until that sort of thing is under control in that neighborhood, we can't exacerbate the problem.
So basically, we are upholding the BPS denial.
Correct.
That's it. All right.
Do I have a motion from any of the board members?
I make a motion to uphold the BPS denial.
I second.
Motion made by George, seconded by Mona. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All of those opposed?
Aye.
It's 3, 4.
Motion
Four
carried.
motion, 1 opposed.
And was Mr. Klutzine opposed?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. 1.
4, 1 against. Motion carries. Irene, meeting minutes.
Minutes. I move to approve the minutes for April 16th, 2025.
I'll second it.
All right, moved by Irene, seconded by George. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Meeting minutes accepted. Mary, Evan, any new business?
The only thing I wanted to say is thanks to the members who responded back to me so quickly on setting up the small meetings with the consulting team on the zoning rewrite. I was able to get those calendar invites sent out this afternoon. So check your email, let me know if you didn't get an invite, and I'll make sure to get that resent. I have a better idea in the next week or so, or in the next couple of days, what the agenda of those meetings might look like. The staff's still kind of working with the consultants on that. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. I'm going on vacation. So
Hey, Mary.
yes.
How did the invite come?
Pardon?
How did the invite come?
Email.
Email. It
No, was
just
it like a Google Meet or?
Yeah, it should be a
Yes.
calendar and an
It's
email inviting you to accept a calendar invite. Let me know if you have any trouble at all, though. We can help you with that. Also,
Yeah.
I want to let you guys know we set the meetings up virtually because the consulting team is across the country. But if anyone doesn't want to do it from their own device, you're welcome to come that day to City Hall here at our office, and we'll have it set up.
Okay.
Okay.
And what
All right, have
time?
a good vacation. Where are you going?
To the Bahamas.
Oh, nice. Mary, bring
Enjoy.
your phone because we will still be conducting meetings just as I did when I took a vacation.
I'll just turn my phone towards the ocean and let you all.
There you go.
Even if you got to go through TSA, but drop your phone in the X-ray machine and keep going.
All right.
Probably not, but okay.
Sure.
Before we adjourn, I'd like to explain my vote on the last one. I guarantee you we're going to see it again. It's going to go to the court.
What is it?
Gonna go
I
to court.
guarantee you we're going to see that appeal again.
Are you talking about the last appeal that we just voted on? Oh,
that's why
okay.
I voted no. Is I know that we're going to see it again, no matter how we went with that. We'd see it one way or the other, but it's going to go to the court. They own the ground. They've got everything in their hands. Everything is going to come back, and it's going to be from the court, and they're going to decide it, not us. I mean,
and that could be true. I think perhaps the
That's
court.
why we have expert legal team.
Yeah, I understand.
Right, Archer.
I'll be ready for it.
I know you will, Archer. Thank you.
That's the reason I did what I did. I just need.
I don't think it's the highest and best use. certainly not for that community.
Yeah, I agree. At this point, it's just not at this point. Again, I have a lounge and a restaurant right behind me, but you know, we don't have shootings and loitering, but that's this community and not that community. So,
That was just my 2 bits. I'm sorry.
nope, no problem. So then I
I
get,
make a motion to adjourn.
yes,
I
thanks.
second.
And motion made by Joe, seconded by Irene. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Bye.
See everybody in a week. Mary, see you in 3.
Okay.
Thank
Meeting adjourned. Enjoy your
Bye-bye.
vacation, Mary.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.